Hello YouTube. In today's video I'm going to be starting on my build 5. For this build I've decided to try a Hycomp barrel from Schuemann. As you can see, the compensator is built into the barrel, and I'll show you a little close-up of it. And in today's video I'm going to be fitting this barrel to the slide, which will obviously require milling or cutting a slot in the slide that will allow this rib of the barrel to move back. What you see here is two ports with space behind for either a third port or a sight. Because I'm milling the center of the slide out for this rib, obviously the sight cannot be mounted to the slide, it'll have to be mounted to the barrel, which is perfectly fine. You can also see that baffles have been cut into the front of the barrel. The barrel comes with instructions, and instructions are very clear as to what needs to be done. What my measurements resulted in was 2 inches and 220 thousandths of distance here, and 3 inches and 580 thousandths of distance there, which then I subtracted from here from this and got 1 inch 360 thousandths of distance for the slot. I've also measured the width of the rib, and it came in at 433 thousandths. Per instructions, you're supposed to use 7/16 end mill bit and mill directly in the center of the slide a slot for this that stops at this point. I don't have a mill, I don't have an end mill bit, so what you can see right now is that I've marked the center of my slide using my calipers. So I figured that I didn't initially record how I measured things, and I've decided to drop this little bit of video in just to show you how I did in fact measure everything. So what I did to measure the distance between the rib and the first locking lug is doing this. I actually used the depth gauge on the caliper, and I took a letter opener. I was thinking about using a file or something like that, and I just positioned it in such a way that it's right up against the first engagement lock or lug, and let me just check, yeah, like that. Then I position the caliper against the slide. So I positioned the caliper against the slide, and using the depth gauge pressed up against the letter opener. To figure out the center of the slide, you just measure the width of the slide. In my case it was 916 thousandths. I divided that by half, 458 thousandths. So then I set my caliper to 458 thousandths. There. Locked it. So I put the slide on the edge of the marble block, and while my caliper was set to 458, which you can see here still, I set one lip onto the marble block and used the other lip to mark the slide. Kind of like that. And then what you end up with, hopefully you can see on camera, is a line right there. And that line is dead center, which you can verify by placing the slide on the other side and redrawing the line. And if we see two lines, which we don't, I think. That was dead center. You see that? Now, how I've measured my my sides, once I tried drilling and didn't work, and I drew the lines, was exactly the same. I knew the width of the rib. I added up to 20 thousandths per side, so that's total of 40 thousandths. I added like 30 something thousandths to it. It ended up being 460 thousandths total. Divided by half is 230 thousandths. So then I set my calipers to what did I say, 230, 688. That's 458 plus 230. So let's go 688 right there. Locked it again, and using the same method, laid it on the side, marked that side, laid it on the other side, marked that side. And that's why you want to have a perfectly flat surface. And then it was super easy to measure the length of the slot, because I knew what the distance was, and it was 1 inch and 360 thousandths, I think. And I just set my calipers to that and set one arm, lip, whatever, against the front of the slide, and just drew a line with the other edge. You can see a line there. I've marked the end of the slot. You can see that line. Then I've stepped back a little bit more than half of the drill bit width. Let me show you that. So, as you can see, step back a little bit more, because I need to have about 20 thousandths of clearance between the slide and the rib, and the drill 2 holes. The rest of the slide, or the rest of the cut, I'm going to do by hand. My plan of drilling through the slide didn't work, so I just marked my proper lines for where the rib should go, and I used my hacksaw to cut through, and then used the various bits in the Dremel just to kind of lower this depth and break out that piece of steel. So now I'm cleaning up the actual round part. Okay, so on this side I have a lot of room before I hit the line, so I'm going to go to my file. I think this side is actually not bad. This side will need to be more relieved. So the slot has been cut, and now I'm just going to chamfer the inside edge. Here's what it looks like now. What I need to do is make the gaps even, and then also you can see that I've cut too far back, but my hood currently can't engage, so I need to still adjust the hood. And when I first got this barrel, it looked like there was a ridge. You can still see a line kind of right there and right here. You see that line? Hopefully you can. You see right there, that line. So it looked like the barrel outer diameter was much higher here on top, and it actually had a ridge before it came out towards the muzzle end, right? So it was thicker here and then a thinner outer diameter at the muzzle. So I wasn't sure if it was, I mean it's on the same plane as that rib. I wasn't sure if it was done intentionally, but the barrel itself barely fit into the slide. So even if I tried to put the muzzle end into the slide, it was super tight. Now it kind of goes in, and it does have a little bit of play, which is what I would need for it to lock up. See, a little play. Before it would just go in and you couldn't move it. So, and it was super tight. Now it's a little better. Let me show you. So there's still a little, it's a little tight still right around here, and I have a feeling that I've looked at the hood. It's not the hood. I have a feeling that it's basically still that diameter. So what I'm going to do is mark the barrel here on the outside, and then using my barrel alignment block on the feet of the bottom lug, what I'm going to do is move the barrel in and out and see where it's getting marked up, and I'll sand that side of the diameter. Also, I've ordered the wrong slide for this kind of project because it already has or had a Novak sight cut in. There are two ways to fix this. One way would be, I've checked on the forums, I've asked some of the professional guys or guys with a lot more experience, and they said that I could basically weld up these cutouts and then sand it down to make the slide look like these cutouts weren't even there. The other thing I'm considering is just putting a heavy chamfer all around this slot and kind of making it look like that, like the entire area around the cut would be heavily chamfered, which may or may not look even worse. So for right now I'm not touching anything, but I did put some chamfer on it. And the other thing I did was put my spent case, deprimered case into the chamber. The hood has already been cut to length, and sides have been cut, obviously. So now we're going to check how that slot looks. So I'm going to use my barrel alignment block. This side is really tight on the barrel feet, so I'm not even gonna. So here we go. I'm going to lock the barrel as high as it will go. You can see that it's locked into place, and I'm going to use a white background to show you the alignment. So stay tuned. Let's look through the firing pinhole. There you go. We're in perfect alignment. And now let's look at the slot. You can see that, I mean, it's not bad for a hand cut, or cut by hand, but you can still see that gash a little bit. All of these scratches will clean up, and I'm actually going to be putting a heavy chamfer on the outside. There you go. So not too bad, right? The only problem is, like I said, that back gap right there. I hope you like this. Don't make the same mistake. Either use a mill, or if you're cutting by hand, give yourself a lot of room, basically. Mark your lines and then step away from them as much inward as possible, so that you have a little room to play, which is what I should have done. I wanted to, basically I took a risk. I wanted to see if I could drill it properly on the first go. Didn't work out too well. Thanks for watching.